4 days. 4 freaking days, man. But I ain't never gonna quit this job. I ain't never gonna quit this job, baby. Yeah, man. Elon Musk, Errol Musk, father of Elon Musk, did a video interview with DJ Vlad, and I'm gonna get into it, man. Watching it, man. Watching it. No breaks, no ads. Let's break it down. Let's break it down, and then I'm finna react. You feel me? All that. You feel me? Every guy wanna know how it feels to clap off all the lights, turn close to Kim. You're a dime, so beautiful, top of the line, so unusual. Words can't define, running through my mind all day, babe. I'm so happy you're mine, top of the line. Let's go.
All right, here we go. Today we have Errol Musk, once again, the father of the world's richest man, Elon Musk. Unfortunately, this is a very different situation than our first interview because Errol is being accused since 1993. Now, there's been a New York Times article that came out about this, and Errol, you actually want to respond to all these allegations.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to give a overview of your family situation. So you've had 3 marriages total. In 1970, you married May Helderman, who was a dietitian and a model, and you guys had 3 children together. Elon, Tosca, and Kimball,
Yes.
correct? So then in 1980, you and May divorced.
Yes.
You got married briefly again for a second time to Sue Wilson.
Yes.
What year was this?
81, 82. 82, I think.
Okay, how long were you guys married?
A year.
Okay.
A year and a bit.
Then in 1992, you got married for the 3rd time to Heidi.
Big
Yes.
threes. Big
How
threes.
do you pronounce her full name?
Haida. It's German. Haida Marie.
Heidi Marie. At the time, you were 46. She was 25. She had 3 young children, 2 boys and a girl, with her first husband, who ended up dying in a car accident.
She was 27. I was 44. I mean, yeah, something like that.
Okay, and you ended up having 2 daughters with her.
Yes.
And then years later, you end up having a relationship with your former the daughter of your second or third wife, that is.
Yes.
And there was quite a bit of an age difference between you guys.
Yes, you know, I mean, it's not unusual. I mean, you know, been like that for 6,000 years,
Church.
as far as I know. Check the number of wives the sheikhs have in Dubai and that, you know.
Historically, you had older men and younger women have relationships. That's very normal in most societies.
Yes,
around
apart from the so-called squeaky clean West, it's quite normal in the rest of the world.
Okay, so recently a New York Times article came out and it had a whole timeline for the alleged abuse. So I kind of want to go piece by piece so you could respond to it.
Sure.
So, according to the article, the earliest accusation was in 1993 when your stepdaughter, at the time, said that you allegedly at the family house.
Yes, I mean, I heard about it afterwards, you know. Yeah.
Right. She claimed that you placed her on a row of trash cans at the family house and...
Yes, well, I don't think she claimed it. I think the aunt claimed that. You know, she's a little girl, tiny little girl, you know. I used to look after them. After we were married, my wife was a very high-strung, somewhat bipolar. I didn't know much about it. and she was in and out of clinics. So a lot of the time I was having to look after her 3 children, and you know, right in the beginning, and one was still in nappies, and so you know, I'd been on my own for 10 years. After being married to May, I was a bachelor for 10 years. So when I remarried, which was very nice and everything, it was great, I did find myself in a situation where I didn't know where my job started and where my job ended. But all I knew is I had to, you know, sort of feed 3 kids a day and do my job. And I luckily had a little bit of staff to help me. But it was, you know, difficult when the staff went off and stuff. And you know, so, and weekends, I mean, I was, yeah, it was a lot of pressure, I would say, at the time. But nothing inappropriate or anything like that happened. You know, these people have tried to make it inappropriate, but it's not.
Okay, so after the situation happened, the police opened an investigation, but then your ex-wife ended up withdrawing the charges.
No, she never was in a position to withdraw the charges. The charges were never followed up. They were just left, you know. So, I mean, it did eventually go on to the family court, you know. We have a court in South Africa called the family court where, you know, you have psychologists, and it's all aimed at improving domestic, you know, situations. And so it did wind up in the family court. And in the family court, I explained to the judge, the first judge was a woman, and, you know, and a doctor said to the court that 99 out of 100 fathers would do the same as me. And then I told the court, and then the court dismissed the thing, you see. And then, but at the same time, the court...
Man, doing too much stumbling for me, man. Chill out, bro. Are you telling the truth or what?
Was learned through the child psychologist, the chief child psychologist of the University of Pretoria, that my wife and her family, my ex-wife and her family, were trying to teach my daughter Ali, for example, to lie to the court. So because of that, they removed Ali from her mother, who was then 3, and placed her with me. So, you know, I had a couple of homes at that time. Leaving home I just moved to another home that I had. And so Ali was placed with me, Alexandra, she was placed with me at that age. And by the woman judge. And then my ex-wife and her family appealed, and we went to court again a month later to the family court, and the chief justice of the family court was Kritzinger, a man this time, and he upheld the first ruling. But he added an additional requirement that neither my wife, my ex-wife, nor any of her family were to be alone with Alexandra without a social worker present. Now, if you can't understand that, I'll go into detail and try and explain it to you. But it seems to me understandable. But I'll explain it because maybe people don't understand that. The court concluded that my daughter was being taught to lie, systematically being taught to lie to the court. Now, if a man had done something like that, I imagine you'd wind up in serious trouble. But because it's women, they sort of get away with it, I suppose. I don't know. That's my experience, my opinion. But anyway, they got away with it. But Ali wound up with me. And then about 2 weeks after the court appearances were over, then my ex-wife came to me and said, could she come back home to me and Ali? By that stage, she'd already placed her other 3 children in foster care with the state. She'd taken them, after her and I split up, she took her 3 children, Jana and the 2 boys, and put them with the state. She signed them off. Goodbye. And so it was, then she asked me if she can come back and stay with me and Ali, come home, as one would put it. So I said, sure. I loved her very much, my wife at the time. I mean, I really loved her. And I said, sure, that's great. Come back. I felt she was a victim of circumstance. Her family are not the sort of people I would normally associate with, but she was a victim of being manipulated by people that I would not normally associate with. Anyway, the thing is, she came back and we carried on happily. And a couple of years later, or maybe a year or so later, my daughter, our second daughter, was born, Rose. Rose is now, of course, 26 years old now, but so yes, everything went fine, and for the next few years, we eventually decided to split up amicably in about 2005 because I wanted to go sailing, and she wanted to settle in a small village in the Cape, which is not my what we call the Cape here in South Africa, not my particular cup of tea. But so I gave her what I had. I gave her 3 or 4 houses and 3 or 4 lots and things like that. I gave her my car and a couple of cars and whatever, and cash, a lot of cash. And then I went to the boat, to a yacht that I'd bought, and it's my 5th yacht. And I started preparing that to ocean sail. And who came with me was her son, who was at that time about 15, Jock. And he came to stay with me. He came to live with me permanently. And until he went back to his mother after a year or so to visit her. And previously I told her, don't let him use your car. She let him use her car, and he was killed on the road at the age of 16, driving the car. So that was terrible, and it's difficult to talk about it. But yeah, that's the thing. So I was gone from that family in the year 2005. And it was about in 2014 that Jana, her daughter, contacted me and said she's in a situation of absolute despair. She said her actual words were, which I have in writing, I know you think I'm a piece of shit, but I must have help. If you don't help me, I will kill myself. Okay, so she wrote this to me, and in a long letter, and I showed it to the rest of my family, my sons as well, and I said to them, what do you think we should do? And everyone, including Rose, who was living with me at the time, because I had custody of Rose. After Haida, Marie, and I separated, the one thing I requested in the divorce was that I would have custody of my daughter, Rose. At the time, she was 6. But I allowed her to stay with her mother for a couple of years before I sent her to primary school with Kimball in Colorado. Anyway, that's another story. But Rose had come back. She wanted to be near her mother during her high school period. And at that time is when Jana wrote to me in about 2014 and said, can I please help her? So I decided to help her immediately. And when I found out what her circumstances were, I couldn't believe it. She's living in a storeroom, a disused shopping center storeroom with a sofa. And she was thin as a rake. I gave her after that food, and I bought her immediately. I was on my way to America a day or two later, so I didn't have much time, but I bought her a lot of clothing and shoes and everything. And then I gave her money so that she could buy food and toiletries. And I continued to do that for the next year and a half or so, until she contacted me one time to say that she's been thrown out of the storeroom. She's on the street with all her clothes in some town about 40 miles away from here. So I had in the medium time before that, I had given her a second-hand car to use, a nice second-hand car. And so I said, have you got the car? And she said, yes. I said, well, you better come here then. And she came to stay with me and Rose for the next 3 weeks. And we got on extremely well. I was very surprised. We got on so well. And, I've just received a message from her, oddly enough. She's moving furniture today and she's terribly tired. This is Jana. I just got a message about 5 minutes ago saying, I'm so tired. I said, don't worry. She says to me,
Interview's been going on for like 15 minutes. He said I got a text message from her 5 minutes ago. You tell me what that means.
darling, I'm so tired. This is Jana messaging me 10 minutes ago. So, anyway, coming back to that story. So, she stayed with us for about 3 weeks, and then the boyfriend came and cried on the doorstep and howled all through the night outside and all that sort of thing. And she said, right, she's going to go back and give him another chance. But it didn't really last. And, she came back and we started spending more time together. We now spend all our time together.
Okay, so in the article, there was an incident that was mentioned from 2002. So I guess at the time, you guys were in Malibu?
Yes.
According to the article, your third wife and your stepdaughter had left the house to go somewhere, I guess to a movie. And then your stepdaughter, I guess Yana,
Yes.
was the one who said that she needed to go back because she had forgotten a sweatshirt. And she said that when she went into her bedroom, she saw you.
No. That's completely false. No. When that was a day or two after I got back from South Africa. I'd been in South Africa for a month, got back and found the house to be in a very, very disheveled state. And I was very annoyed. And I vented on everybody. You know, I said, no, look, this is, you know, I really was angry. Because basically Elon had bought us this house. And it was an extremely expensive house. And I just wanted them to value this house. And it was an extremely, you know, I really was angry. Because basically Elon had bought us this house. And it was an extremely expensive house. And I just wanted them to value it, you know. But anyway, so I was shouting at everybody. But Yana came to me and said that the light in her bedroom doesn't work. So I said, all right. So I went to I went up to see what fault was, found a globe, and I was about to replace the light. And when I got to her room, I found it with just plates with unfinished food all over the place. Half a dozen plates with unfinished food. She'd actually pulled the curtains right out of the wall that I'd spent quite a lot of time trying to fit, because the walls in America are made of sort of cardboard, and it's very hard to fix the curtains to the wall. But anyway, she'd pull on the curtains, pull the whole curtain system out of the wall in this beautiful room, and the house and the room was in a terrible state. So I started tidying up, throwing things in the wash basket, and that's when she walked in. And she said, what are you doing? So I said, well, I'm cleaning up. And this led to her saying, I don't want you in my room doing that. And I started shouting, well, you can't have a room like this.
Lying, man. The nigga scratch his ears, man. You weirdo.
This is out of the question. And so we went downstairs. We had a row, and
Now scratching everything.
I don't know. I never heard of the sniffing underwear thing. Never heard of it. It just was something quite new to me. But I reached the point with them at that point. I said, I'm not going to be able to live like this. I can't live like this. And, in South Africa, we had black servants, or rather servants, should I say, who picked up after these people everywhere when we lived in South Africa. So we had that. But when we got to America, there were no servants. So if you didn't clean your home yourself, there was nobody to come and do everything for you. And they were used to having everything done for them. Beds made, washers. If you wanted something, you just take it from the cupboard, ironed and ready. Everything's done for you. And when we got to America, they were not living like that. They were living very bad. And as I say, my biggest concern was that Elon had paid so much for this home. I couldn't have wet towels causing, what do they call mold and all that sort of stuff in the carpeting and everything. They just threw everything around. So that's how it was. So that's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. And you can ask Yana. She actually sent the New York Times a letter saying that that's absolute nonsense. It's not true.
Okay, but according to the article, after she accused you of sniffing her underwear...
No, she didn't.
That the family...
No, they made that up.
Well, they made that up. Okay, but the article says that the family called the police...
You're making a statement. She accused you of sniffing her underwear. She never said anything like that. The aunties and the mother, they made that up.
Okay, but were the police called and there was a complaint with Child Protective Services around that time?
No. They did get hold of my sons, and I said I can't live there anymore. After that, I said I just can't live here. I don't want to be part of this anymore. And so I left. I never stayed there afterwards. I wasn't prepared to stay under
Actions of a guilty man. You are a freak.
circumstances. And I found myself, I went to a hotel and said, I'm not prepared to live like that. And they gave this big story to my sons. And as far as I know, I'm not 100% sure what happened after that, except I did get a call from the social worker set up in LA who said to me that I should come, on a Wednesday or something between such and such a time, I think it's something like that, so that I can speak to one of their social family workers, which was very nice. So I went to see them on the day they told me, and then I told them what the circumstances were and that I'm not very happy with the situation. And, that was about it. But I'd had enough. I wasn't prepared to go on like that. And shortly after that, Elon suggested buying me a boat, which I'm very into sailing and stuff. So we bought a boat in Marina del Rey, and I moved on to that. But I wasn't on the boat a day or two, when Hader and the children all arrived to come and stay on the boat with me. And all stayed on the boat with me. It was a very big boat. I mean, it was a fantastic boat. It was a wedding cake next to Johnny Carson's boat. And, they all came and stayed with me, and we just carried on as though nothing had happened. But I'd had enough of the whole situation in LA. I wasn't prepared to go on with that situation.
You said you carried on as if nothing had happened. So that's implying that something did happen. Because if you just carried on, and you would have just said, we just carried on. But carried on as if something had happened implies that something did happen, you freako.
I didn't like it. Elon had given Hader Marie my cards, his cards, to use for everything she needed. They gave me, I didn't need it. I didn't need any money. I had money in South Africa where I could take from. But anyway, they gave me $200 every 10 days or so, I think it was, something like that. $200, it wasn't a week. It was a little bit over a week. They gave me $200 in an envelope that was given to me every 10 days or something. For me, that's my expense money, $200. And in the meantime, Hader, who I had been living in super luxury with me in South Africa in beautiful homes, where I was the breadwinner of the home and the father of the home and everything, she was now in charge of everything. And my sons made her in charge of everything, which was crazy, absolutely crazy. And as soon as I was on the boat, they were all at the boat, and everything was back to normal. And then I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going back to South Africa. I've got to see to properties I still had here. And so I left. I left shortly afterwards. It was just after Valentine's Day. So Valentine's night, all this sort of thing happened in December. But Valentine's night, my wife at the time and I, Hader Marie, we went out for Valentine's, and she was wonderful. We went to Casablanca in LA. It's a Mexican restaurant up in the Marina del Rey area, which I recommend to everybody. And we had a wonderful time. So I left back to South Africa, and immediately Hader and the children told me they want to come back to South Africa. So all their passports were in Elon's hands, or his officer's hands. So they didn't want to let anybody know they were going back to South Africa. And we still had active tickets to return, which had never been used. So I sort of kindled those tickets. You pay a little extra and get them re-energized. And I told them to go to the South African embassy and get a temporary passport on the basis that their passports have been misplaced. And they did that. And then they made for the...
That sounds like abuse already. I ain't finna cap to you, bro. I don't even mean to be a bitch, bro. But that sounds like abuse. How they left you, and you left to go to South Africa. And now they want to go back to you because they're already so used to you and your abuse. And now you're telling them to go get a passport from the embassy. Sounds like something working out.
Leaving everything behind. Everything. All my paintings, all my records, everything. I left it all there in LA. I originally took it over. And then they got on a plane. But in the meantime, my wife's then sister heard of the plan for them to come back to South Africa. So they contacted Elon's office. It's almost like a novel, really, or something like a movie, and told Elon's office that Hader and the children are going to try and get away. So there was a race to the airport, but Hader Marie and the children were able to get on the plane and get away. And so they got back to South Africa. In the meantime, I had a very big house here, which I subsequently sold for the deputy president of South Africa, the guy who's now the president. And a very big house, a very beautiful home. And I had that home, and they came and we stayed there. But we decided after a year or so to move to the Cape, because the upper country, the higher parts of this country, or the parts up country, are being systematically destroyed by the black government, you know.
Well, according to the article, once you got back to South Africa, you became financially reliant on Elon. I guess there's an email
that's
that
not
they
true.
found which said, I'm now totally dependent on your card here.
No.
And your son,
they made that
Kimball...
up. Who made that up? Who said that?
up?
I never said anything like that.
Okay.
That's made up.
Made up.
Made up.
Okay. So Kimball, who was allegedly copied on this email, said, financially, this has been horrible, but much worse for Elon than you, not just in absolute dollars, which are considerable, but in pain and frustration. The scariest thing is that I've learned that the kids prefer living in the children's home rather than with you or Haiti.
Well, that's absolute rubbish. Absolute, total rubbish. My advice to you is to ask the children. So I sent you an email or a video yesterday, or a message from my daughter Alexandra, who at the time was about 10, who said, you were wonderful father, Dad. They are evil, these people. You know, I mean, what do you can't say these people said this and that when it's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Jock later came and lived with me after we decided to split up. He came and lived with me, and we worked on the yacht with the idea that we were going to, as soon as he was finished school, we were going to head off overseas. Unfortunately, he was killed. But in fact, in 2017, I did take my daughter Alexandra, and we set off from Cape Town, and we sailed, the first stop after that was 10,000 nautical miles away with my daughter. She turned 17 years old on the boat. You know?
Well, right. You forwarded me an email from Alexandra, your daughter, which is the biological daughter with your third wife.
Yes.
And the email states, everything okay after the New York Times article? Clearly, the New York Times loves working with the devil. They see that our family is the light, and there's a lot of dark people out there.
Yeah.
You really should sue for defamation. You're a wonderful father.
Yeah, that's Alexandra.
Right. Alexandra saying that.
Yes. Yes. She said that on Monday, this week. You know, my children are very busy, They don't have, it's not like they're sitting around, waiting for somebody to phone them. They're getting a minute of their time. All of the adult children I've got overseas, that's Elon and Kimball and Tosca and Alexandra and Rose, they're very, very busy. So, I sent them the information about this article last week, and the first I heard back was from her, saying this, what you just said, yeah. We're not particularly worried about it. I mean, it's nonsense.
Okay, so you move back to South Africa, and then your third wife divorced you again because you had gotten remarried, right?
No, my third wife didn't divorce me. I went and applied for a divorce.
Okay.
That's different. You understand? I went and applied for a divorce because I said to her, I don't want to live this sedentary existence in a small village in the Cape. She was still quite young. I was probably almost 60, 59, 60. She's about 38, 39 or something like that. She was still a young woman. She had a life with these people in this village. I didn't want that. And so I went and applied for a divorce. She said, if you apply for a divorce, I'll go with it. I said, okay, fine. If I have a divorce, I'll give you all 3 houses. I'll give you both lots of land. I'll give you my Range Rover Vogue. I'll give you our truck pickup, and I'll give you a couple of million rands.
Okay. So.
And she said, fine. I said, I want one thing in exchange. I want custody of our daughter, who was then 6 years old. That doesn't mean she has to be with me, but I want custody of her. So my Hader Marie said, that's fine. And when we went to see, in order to get a divorce in this country, as I said earlier, you have to go to the family court. And when we went to the family court for this particular divorce in 2005, the social worker said to us, and she told the court as well, I cannot understand why Hader Marie and Errol want to get divorced, because this is one of the most loving families I've ever come across. So we explained to her, it's just that that's how we want to live. So I appeared in court, I applied for the divorce, I was granted the divorce. There's a difference.
Okay, sure.
There's a difference to what you are saying and what I am saying.
Got it. Well, thank you for correcting me.
Thank you.
Okay, so you filed for divorce in 2005.
Yes.
1 year later, and you touched on this already in 2006, Hader Marie's younger son died in a car accident.
Yes.
2006.
Yes. He was living with me at the time.
Oh, he was?
Yes, but he went to visit her, and she let him use her car. And I told her she's not to let him use your car. You're not to let him use your car. He can't drive. She said she can't drive him everywhere. I said, that doesn't matter. You can't let him use the car. He's too small. A week later, he was dead. Everyone knows that. Everyone in the family knows that. Everyone knows that I did that.
I might have nothing to do with the fucking car. That nigga just saying the car. Car.
Yeah, my condolences.
Yes, it's something very hard. You never forget about it. It's like the same every day.
Yeah. Sorry you had to go through that.
Yes.
Okay, so according to the article, around 2007, your ex-wife, Hader Marie, wrote Elon Musk and said she's in a very bad situation and living in a house with no bathroom and no kitchen. So Elon allegedly paid for a contractor to fix the house and build a fence around it, and also paid for a private school for his half-sisters.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that, but that's not true. She was given three beautiful homes by me. So I don't know where they come with that. That's insane. Anyway, I mean, she did try selling everything. She sold everything. I have a specific...
Hey, Elon got a big heart. Good job, Elon.
A particular view on how men handle money and how women handle money. And, my feeling is that a woman handles money well if a man is assisting on their own. They're not as smart as they might be if your husband is helping, Anyway, the thing is, I don't know anything about asking Elon for any money, but I imagine they continued to try and see Elon or obtain from Elon money. I never had anything to do with that.
By 2009, according to the article, your ex-wife, Hader Marie, ended up coming back around and ended up reconnecting with you and the kids and bringing the kids back around.
2009. We were always really on good terms. There wasn't question of coming back or not going back. We divorced amicably. There was no... we never had any issue with spending time with each other. So I'm not sure what you mean. She continued to live in that small village. She eventually met a man there and she married him, I believe. I wasn't at the wedding, so I can't speak about it. He was unfortunately killed in a car accident last year, so...
This nigga killing everybody. What the fuck? Get the son with the ex-husband. Get the husband. Oh.
One thing leads to another. But anyway, so she was with him for years after that with this other chap. She was with him from, I can't really remember when she started seeing him, but it was about 2009, and he was killed last year, which is 2024.
Okay, so right around that time, according to the article, your former stepdaughter, who was 21 at the time,
Yes.
they claimed that she was home from college
Yeah.
and you kissed her and stuck your tongue into her mouth.
No, that's not what happened. That day, I went to fetch
Real tyrant, nigga. Real tyrant.
her from the stepdaughter. She was at college. And I was asked that if I could, I was going to pick up my daughter Alexandra, who was at a boarding school. And if I could make a sort of detour and pick up Yana as well, because she was at a college in that area. So I said, okay, so I went to pick them both up. And I brought them both back to their mother's house, one of the houses that we had. And where there were certainly many bathrooms and stuff. But at any rate, then I had a long distance to go back to the yacht. The yacht was, in Cape Point, which is quite far away from where the village was. So it was they suggested, we had supper and everything, and they suggested, as I recall, they suggested I stay over. So I said, great, I'd rather stay over and leave the next day. And I stayed there that night. And, the house is a house that I'd had a lot to do with. So, I mean, I stayed in one of the spare rooms that I knew very well and had originally even used that room. Mm-hmm. Anyway, and then during the night, I was awoken by the light in my room going on. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. So I was lying in bed and Yana came into the room. So I said, what is it? So she said, do you have a radio? There were some of these portable radios around. I said, I'm not sure. I don't know if there's a radio in here. Anyway, she came in and then she literally pounced on me.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Pounced on me and started kissing me, which, of course, no other man can imagine, I suppose, but that's exactly what she did. And she smelled terribly of alcohol. So she'd obviously been out partying. It must have been about 1 o'clock in the morning. And subsequently, she just got up. I spent the entire time just lying on her back in the bed. And then she went, switched the light off, and then she went back to bed. And the next morning, I was wondering how to deal with that. So I went to see her, and she'd obviously sobered up a bit, and she was quite offhand. And then Hader came to me and said that her daughter had told her I had lured her to my room last night.
That makes sense.
Which of course I didn't. And I said, no, I didn't do that. And Hader said, well, look, you better leave. So I said, no, well, fine. I was leaving anyway. So that was what happened. And Yana has already written a letter to the New York Times to tell them that's what happened.
Freak.
And I don't want to embarrass Yana, you see. I mean, obviously. But unfortunately, the person is being forced to. So that's exactly what happened. And, it was the mother, Hader Marie, then my ex-wife, shared this, I suppose, with her family, who then immediately said there must be a restraining order against me. So a restraining order was requested, and I received this. I was told I'm not allowed to go there. So the next time I was due to take my daughter there, I said, well, now I have this restraining order. How do I bring Alexandra? Must I drop her off a few blocks away or something? And they said to me, oh, forget about it. It's nonsense. It's nonsense, the restraining order. So we just continued as though nothing had happened, the restraining order. So we never abided or never even took in the slightest notice of it afterwards.
Again, as if nothing
was. It was just ignored. So it never happened.
Well, according to the article, in the restraining order, your stepdaughter, Yana, claimed that you were sexually abusing your two daughters and your stepson, who had died previously, but claimed that you were abusing the son as well.
That makes sense.
The New York Times, I would say that my ex-wife's family are people who've also tried to get money from Elon. They've also sent begging letters. They certainly sent begging letters to me right from the start, way back early 90s. And then afterwards it was sending begging letters to Elon, and then in some ways I think the idea was that they would say to Elon, we have to put up with your terrible father, so can you help us financially to do that? And it was along those lines. But all that is absolute rubbish. I mean, it's absolute nonsense. Rose was from the age of 9, about 9, she went to do primary schooling in Colorado. So as soon as Kimball suggested that, because I had custody of Rose when she was, when we got divorced, when Rose was about 6, and which is about 8.5, 9, Kimball asked me, how is it going with Rose? And I said, well, she's at a school here. I don't think she's terribly happy. Kimball then said, send her to me. I have an incredibly great younger son who's a wonderful human being. Let's put it like that. And I said, you sure? He said, Dad, please send her to me. So he had this huge house in Boulder, which used to be like 9 bedrooms, used to be a sort of Wild West hotel or something, right in town. It's a heritage site. And he said, I've got so much space here. We've got staff. We've got everything. Please send Rose. So Rose left almost immediately, and she went over to do primary schooling there. And Kimball put her into the school. I can't remember the name offhand, but it was a very, very good school in the area, private school. And then when Rose reached the age of 13, she asked me if she could rather come back to South Africa to live because she wanted to be near her mother during her high school time.
You're a freak.
Her high school, she was due to go to high school. So I was in Brazil at that time in a city called Fortaleza on my yacht. And
What's up with this guy in boats, bro? He was abusing the stepson. Stepson escaped to go tell the mom and got in the car and got killed. There's a gray area somewhere where I'm not, putting the story together properly. But it's exactly what happened. That nigga killed that nigga because he was about to snitch about how he was, raping him. All that.
Decided there and then, right, okay, I'll forego the yachting stuff at this point, and I will go back to South Africa. I said, and I'll get a home near your mom, and you can come and live there with me. And Haida, in the meantime, Haida Marie was married to another man. I don't think they particularly wanted Rose with them. At any rate, I came back to South Africa, and the house that I'm now in, I bought at that time. And Rose came back immediately, and I put her into the local private school, which luckily we have here, quite a good private high school. And not to say the government schools are not that bad, but anyway, I put her in a private high school. That's where she wanted to go. And my fear, of course, was that she would not be happy there, but it turned out to be a very good high school experience for her. And she lived here with me for the next 5 years. And then when she finished her high schooling, grade 12, Elon and Kimball wanted her to go to university in America. So they brought her back to America, where she has since completed a couple of degrees in teaching.
Elon's a great nigga. Keep going.
She lives in Austin in Texas now, with the rest of the family.
Oh, yeah.
Got it. Okay, so according to the article, after your stepson died, Yana began to spiral over the death of her brother. And she started struggling with drug use. And at one point she went to jail because she stole some jewelry from you and her mother?
No. That's not true at all. That's made up. That's made up stuff. Made up. It's not true. She did get into... she was the word I would use it is entrapped. She got entrapped in the drug scene here in Cape Town, which was terrible. In fact, in the last 3 days, we've just heard, this is now South African police, the Minister of Police has just been found guilty of bringing in 300 kilograms of cocaine for sale in South Africa. The Minister of Police in this country. And his name's Becky Selly. So please, let's get that out there so they can come and sue me or try and kill me. One of the two. But at any rate, Jana got entrapped by that. And a lot of kids got entrapped by that. And we did everything we could to stop that. So I arranged, she didn't want to go to rehabs because that's not what they want. But I did kind of force her to go to rehabs, and I would, at one point she came home and I would, in fact, believe it or not, I would go and buy the heroin for her.
Oh.
So I would go with her to where she would buy heroin in Cape Town. And then I would go to the heroin seller who keeps it in his mouth, by the way, in little packages. And he keeps it in his mouth, and if the police come, he swallows it. You follow what I mean? They're in plastic. I believe so, anyway. So then I would go with her. I did this several times. I would go with her, and then for the amount they required, you could, for, I don't know, 600 or something, you got 4 little packets. And 4 little packets would last 2 or 3 days, I think. I'm not sure exactly how long. And he would take it out of his mouth and he would dry it for you, obviously sputum, and hand it to you in a little plastic. And you paid him. And then I would take that heroin and I would divide it so that I would say, try to take a little less. So that every time you take a little less.
Abuse.
But it didn't really work.
Abuse.
Didn't really work.
Making himself look bad.
What eventually happened, this was right in the beginning, in 2005, 2006. So what really happened is I left the situation, and Jana was eventually placed in a place called Nopoort, which is in the middle of the desert, from the middle of nowhere, called Nopoort, Nouport, which is a place where they deal with this thing properly, where she completed her schooling, and she finished her grade 12, and she came out, okay. And she did get with a bad crowd. They were caught on one occasion, I believe, I wasn't 100% aware of what happened, where they apparently went into a pharmacy, and I'm only telling hearsay, and they would distract the pharmaceutical assistant and then take stuff off the shelves, like, I don't know what they would take, but ordinary toiletries, I imagine. And then they were caught doing this, and she was taken to a court, and she was given 6 weeks of that she must spend in this place in a nearby town called I can't remember the name. And she must go to this place, and she must be there. It's a state facility. And they will. She must be there for 6 weeks. So she went there for 6 weeks. I would take her, my daughter, other daughters, and myself would drive there. It's quite far, and we'd take her sweets and chocolates and magazines and stuff like every week, a whole package of stuff that you were allowed to give her, And so we'd drive that distance and give it to her. We weren't allowed to see her, but my daughters would take the stuff in and give it to her. I would drive them there. And then she was out, and that was more or less the end of it. And after that, she was over the drug thing by that stage. And after that, I never really saw much of her until I received a letter many years later in 2014, where she emailed me to say that she's actual words were, I know you think I'm a piece of shit, but I need help. If you don't help me, I will kill myself. So then I immediately helped her, even though Rose, who was living with me at the time, I showed her the email. I said, what do you think? And Rose said, leave her, Dad. She's brought this on herself. So I said, no, we can't do that. So we helped her immediately, and ever since then, things have been fine.
This man is
and today she's a very fine woman of 38 years of age. She's extraordinary, elegant woman. And Yeah, so I can't praise her enough, you know.
Okay, and we've touched on this before. You ended up helping her. The two of you became intimate. And in 2018, you were 72, and she was, what, around 30, 29?
Yes.
Ridiculous.
Around that age. And you had a child with her.
Wow.
And
Yes.
then you had another child 2 years later?
Well, yes.
Okay. And according to the article, once she had children, she started to really clean up and turn her life around.
Oh no, she was cleaned up from about 2014. When I first saw her in 2014, when she was living in the storeroom with this male who was a surfer who didn't
Sounds
do
like
anything.
abuse to
He
me.
just didn't do anything. I started funding them, not with massive amounts, but enough for food and what I considered important for her, toiletries and clothing, you know. And so after that, she lived pretty well, and I even got them both a car, a second-hand car. It was a good car. It was a Freelander. I mean, it was a good car, and
This guy's a
she,
pimp.
she let me know every so often. I would send her money through in South Africa, we could send money through the ATM system. So she was about 60. She was living about 60 miles away, so I would send her money through that every week. So she would be able to buy food and toiletries, and occasionally she would ask me for something else, and then I would do that as well.
Okay,
What
so
are you getting in
according to the
return?
article, in 2023, family members contacted a social worker because they claimed that you groped the buttocks of your 5-year-old son.
No, I mean, that's insane. I mean, that's totally insane. You know, I sent you a video, I think, of me with the children saying to me a week or two ago outside McDonald's, "We love you, Dad. We love you, Dad." It's horrible. It's a terrible insult to my little boy. He's such a nice little boy. I mean, he's just like Elon, actually. I wish he was more like Kimball, but he's just like Elon. You know, he's got to be number one in everything. And, no, I don't know what to say to that. I never heard of it. I didn't know anything about it. First I've heard of it. First I've ever heard of it. It's about getting money from Elon or Kimball.
Well, according to the article, there's 3 separate police investigations were open,
No.
but they all ended.
No, there were no police investigations. That's nonsense. That's not true. They made it up. Police investigations about what? They made it up. They made it up. You know, there's a situation in this country, and I imagine perhaps in other countries as well, where when women go and cry foul, you know, he raped me, or women go and say he did this or he did that, you know, it must be true. Something to that effect. But, you know, people are getting wise to that now as well. So, no, there was no investigations. And to make such a suggestion is insulting, and to my son, it's just insulting, you know, to hear something like that. I mean, I absolutely, obviously, he's my main focus at this point in time. The girl is a lovely, pretty little girl. Girls, I believe, need to be pretty, but boys need to be prepared for life, to be the provider. This is the way I look at it, and everybody else, every other male in my family looks at it exactly the same way. So it's an insult to him. His future is of the greatest importance to me. He is a professional gamer, even at 8 years of age. Rush, I call him Rush. His name's Elliot Rush. His mother likes Elliot. I call him Rush. And he is a professional gamer now. He's part of the gaming community. He plays against adults. PUBG contacted me in April this year. I never heard of them. I didn't know what PUBG was. Never heard of it. They asked me if they could bring him to China. They asked me again last month, in fact, in August, or earlier this month in September, that they're still interested in bringing him to China because he's very popular in China and they will make him very famous in China. You know? And, of course, his mother said he's too small, can't go to China. But with the recent request from PUBG, we sort of said, well, you know, people from PUBG or whoever contacted us, we thought, well, maybe we can do it, but as long as she can go with him, her mother, I mean. But, of course, you ask him, do you want to go to China? He says, yeah, I want to go to China.
Well, in 2017, we touched on this in the last interview. Elon Musk did an interview with Rolling Stone, and he said that my father has done almost every evil thing that you could possibly think of.
Yes.
And in the 2023 authorized biography, Elon said that he doesn't communicate with you at all. And according to this New York Times article, what they're saying is that the other family members claiming the child abuse is a lot of the big reason why the relationship is not in a good place.
Well, I don't know, this is a family that's at war with each other. So, one must look at the parallels or metaphors, similar things. Like anyone look at the US today, you'd think it's a complete disaster going on in the United States. I phone my daughters there and say, how's it going? They say, Dad, we don't see anything. We have a terrific time. It's wonderful where we live. That's reality in the US. But if I were to look at the media, I would think it's a flaming wreck, the United States, looking at that as a comparison. So no, Elon invited me. First of all, Elon and Kimball came over to South Africa when I turned 70. And at that time, it was 2016, I was very in favor of Donald Trump. And honestly, I get down on my knees now and thank God. I'm a God-fearing person. Thank God for Donald Trump. I mean, you people may not understand it, but where we live, we look at you with envy that you have Donald Trump. We envy you. We say, God, why can't we be like the Americans? Please, please. That's the reality, okay? So now, you spoiled there. You spoiled. You're all bad, spoiled people. So you can play around as you eat your ice cream. Do you understand? We can't do that. Anyway, I don't mean that to you personally, Vlad. I'm just saying, speaking in general. But
You said because he's white, huh?
anyway, so the thing is, they came for my 70th birthday, which is rather nice because I just had an open heart operation. And I was still wearing a monitor and everything, radio monitor. And at that thing I told you before, I think, they brought 50 people from America with him that cast the Jungle Book. And many, many famous, really famous people, that people have only heard of, And then one of them, John Favreau, he said to me, we believe you support Trump. And I said, yes, I support Trump. And they all laughed and carried on. And so, what a stupid thing. It was like a hilarious answer on my part. And then Favreau said to me, why do you support Trump? And he's an idiot. I said, no, I met Trump once and he's a wonderful person and he's like me. He does the same work I do. He's a private person. He's not a career politician who's never done anything. And so that's why. And they all laughed. No, they said he's a con man, he's a thief, he's a crook, he's this, he's that, which is all nonsense. And afterwards, Elon and Kimball at that time, they were still necessary for them to pretend that they were Democrats or bleeding heart Democrats because, as Elon said, we had to do that because the Democrats were viewed as supporting the underdog. But since then, Elon has said it's quite obvious the Democrats do not support anyone but their own elite group. That's Elon's own words. But after that, Elon did say to the Rolling Stone magazine or something that I am evil or something like that. He also told me that Trump's evil that time. When in that restaurant time, they told me Trump is evil. Anyway, as far as seeing Elon, 2023, Elon invited me to come to Boca Chica to the launch of the Starship. So I said, great. I said, I'll take everybody. So I brought Hayda Marie, Rose, Alexandra, several other friends, and we all got into our Teslas. First, I went over to America, and we got into our Teslas and drove all the way to Boca Chica, where Elon and I were together for the launch of that Starship. After that launch, there was an evening with all the SpaceX employees. There must have been a couple of hundred of them. A fantastic party. It was a very successful launch, and a sort of a Hawaiian themed party. Elon and I sat together through the whole party, and then at one point Elon stopped the music and said, everyone, this is my dad. He taught me everything I know about engineering. To which I then said, no, you taught yourself a lot of things. And that was that. And the next day we had lunch, which was Sunday, and we, and Elon went off to his travels again, and we returned back to Austin. But that was the last time I saw Elon. Kimball and I had lunch with the Sheikh of Abu Dhabi in Abu Dhabi a few months ago. So that was a big lunch of 200 people. I was the guest of honor, and Kimball was a guest, and the Sheikh put us together, and yeah.
Well, you touched on Elon and Trump. Now, after Trump gets elected, Elon becomes one of the head people in DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. But then in June, Elon started criticizing Trump's domestic spending bill, and the two of them have a fallout, and they start basically insulting each other on social media. But then recently, at Charlie Kirk's funeral, Elon and Trump reunited.
Yes.
What did you think of the whole Elon,
Well,
working with Trump and then falling out with Trump and then now somewhat reuniting with Trump? We're not sure exactly where it's going, but there is like a love-hate relationship between the two.
Well, what I would say is, first of all, towards June of this last year, Elon and Trump had been in a very intense period of time for months on end, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And they had achieved an enormous amount in that time. And of course, a lot of the time they were living on, their last resources physically. And suddenly everything came together, everything looked good. And at that point, I put it like this, they found they were still loaded with adrenaline or something, and they sort of turned on each other or something to that effect. Elon has always had this idea of how things should be run. As I tried to explain to Elon at the time, I said you can run businesses like that, but people can't be run like a business. People are different. Politics is different. Politics is 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. And Trump knows that, but Elon has had to learn that. And I knew that they would, get back together at some point. I'm reminded of a story that people know quite well in this country. During the Boer War, and this story has been told by other people of the same caliber, during the Boer War, we had a man here called General Smuts, who was famous. There's a statue of him outside the Parliament in England. And Smuts was a Boer general during the Boer War, and he carried the war on. After the peace treaty was signed in Vereeniging in 1901, he carried on fighting as a guerrilla fighter for the next 2 years, until he was finally forced to surrender to the British. And Smuts was afterwards asked what was the biggest problem he had with the Boer. And he said, the biggest problem I had was every single member of my army of 35,000 men, considered himself equal to me and equally capable of being a general. Now, this is a very important thing to understand. It seems to be a problem among the very common sense, level-headed, proper people in the world, proper men in the world, that they each consider themselves equally capable of being the Prime Minister, the President, or the General. And whoever is elected to that position is viewed with great examination, great inspection. And as Smuts said, it was very difficult to lead an army in which every single man had to be explained to by himself what the plan was and get his approval. So you bring that back to Elon and Trump, and you understand when you have two alpha, super alpha males, it ultimately becomes something that you see in the wild with lions and elephants and other large creatures. They do not give in to each other until one is supreme. And I told Elon, you're not going to win this with Donald Trump. I told him in June, you're not going to win this. Donald Trump's older than you. he's going to win this. He has more experience. He's going to win, which he did. And I'm very, very pleased to know that Elon has learned a great deal. You can't run a country like a business. It's not a business. You have to include the poor, the crippled, the not so bright. All kinds of people are all just as important as those that have AAA sets or sats or whatever it's called. And so Elon has had to learn that.
Well, Elon's had some interesting business moves since our last interview. So in the middle of 2025, Elon bought back 1 billion shares worth of Tesla, which made the stock go up significantly. I own a significant amount of Tesla stock, so I'm very happy. I think it's up like 80% this year. So thank you, Elon. And then Tesla offered a $1 trillion pay package to Elon Musk.
Yes, that's right. So they don't want him to leave, you know. I mean, it would be crazy for him to leave. They owe him, they told him in 2010 or something, or 2011, that they would pay him $56 billion if he could take the value of Tesla to $1 trillion, which he did. And so they owe him $56 billion. And then some weedy judge in Delaware, who probably doesn't know whether it's day or night, said this is ridiculous to pay somebody $56 billion. So I don't know what happened to that payment. I believe they eventually came to some agreement, but certainly he has been told that they will pay him $1 trillion if he continues with Tesla.
Yeah, for those that don't know, that is 1,000 billion.
Yes, that's 1,000 billion.
That's what a trillion is, 1,000 billion. He has $1,000 billion pay package, which is
the
kind
thing
of
is,
mind-blowing.
it's a sort of mood thing because he doesn't take anything. He's never taken a salary at Tesla, and he puts the money back into Tesla, puts everything back into more expansion, more improvements. So it's not as though he runs off to some, shop around the corner to go and buy things or something with his $1 trillion, and he puts it straight back into the operation.
Look, I'm on my 4th Tesla at this point. I have a Model X Plaid, which
yes, I know.
is my favorite car I've ever owned. I actually have at least 2 of them in a row, the exact same car, just because I couldn't find a better car. So I love what Tesla's doing. I feel like the software, in terms of the self-driving, is just miles and years ahead of everyone else.
Yes, I spent a month in California this year, and everywhere we went at Stanford, I addressed 600 students at Stanford, and I was asked to anyway, and I did that, and we drove about in full self-driving Teslas everywhere. Everywhere we went was full self-driving. So it was but it was good because they have the new thing that if you take your eyes off the road, then the car calls your attention and says, your eyes are off the road.
Starts to beep.
Which I completely agree with. That's similar to flying an airplane. I fly, so, when you put on the autopilot on a plane, you don't take your eyes off the job that you're doing. You don't go make coffee. You sit there and watch things, and you keep your eyes out the window.
Yeah, what's actually interesting is, for example, I live in Los Angeles. We have Waymo taxis, right, which I think is a Google company, which is completely driverless taxis, where they pull up, you jump in, there's no driver, it takes you to where you need to go. But what Elon said recently, which was kind of mind-blowing, is that he said in the foreseeable future, when you're out of town or when you're asleep, if you have a self-driving Tesla, you could actually have this Tesla drive around as a self-driving taxi and make you money while you're not using it.
That's right. That's an Uber.
Crazy. So suddenly you have there's this huge army of Teslas that suddenly become taxis overnight and become income sources for the people.
I think,
so it's
the worry
pulls us off.
The worry is, that will the people look after it? Because every Uber I've ever got into, and that's quite a few, are always so spick and span clean, and the driver is so smart that you always sit very nicely and appreciate the Uber. But if you send a car without a driver, the people may not be so good,
Well, and here's another article that I read, which is actually very mind-blowing as well, is that recently, SpaceX acquired the spectrum rights from EchoStar in a $17 billion deal, which makes SpaceX one step closer to satellite to phone connectivity,
Yes.
which would bypass
Yes.
all of the cell phone towers. So
Yeah.
what that means, if I understand this correctly, is that in the foreseeable future, you'll be able to get rid of your AT&T or Verizon bill
Yes.
and get a SpaceX
Yes.
cell phone package,
Yes.
which will probably be less because it's satellites as opposed
Yes.
to actual physical towers.
Yes, but also
So
foster
he's
much
going to
better.
end up potentially destroying the cell phone industry with this
Yes.
technology.
The cell phone industry has to partner with SpaceX to try and be part of the sale of the phones, I would say. That is definitely what is going to happen. The underground cabling systems and all that are fine, but they are all going to be, sort of done away with. And, it's going to be satellite to phone. So Elon told me himself in 2023, December 2023, when I sat with him, he said, in 2025, we're going satellite to phone. That's Elon telling me. So I know about that, but that's obvious, that's the obvious thing to have, is satellite to phone.
Yeah. If he pulls that off, it's going to be a complete game changer.
They will pull it off. Yes, they will.
Yeah.
It has already been done. So in New Zealand, for example, it's all satellite. You can have satellite to phone. So they have it as a test country. New Zealand is satellite to phone. So you can buy a phone in New Zealand which is linked straight to Starlink. Yes, already.
I wish I could actually buy SpaceX stock, but unfortunately, Elon said that he never plans for SpaceX to actually go public. He wants to keep it private.
Yes. Yes, if SpaceX went public, it would probably go public at about $1.5 trillion. And so
Yeah.
you don't want to be in a situation where your whole job is to satisfy shareholders. You need to be in a position with things like this where if you decide you're going to expend money, which they are doing now, on a lunar program, big time, then you have to be able to be free to do that.
Oh, yeah.
And accept the fact that
That's it.
you're going to have a few expenses here and there. So at the present time, they're focusing on the lunar program, which is landing starships on the moon, and also putting satellites around the moon and so forth. So that's all in progress for next year.
Okay, so what are satellites around the moon? What is that going to accomplish?
Well, it's a part of learning because we really don't know much about the moon. There's a lot of conjecture. There's even talk that the Apollo missions were faked, as you probably know. And if you look at the actual physics of landing on the moon, it is quite a problem because there's no atmosphere. And when you have no atmosphere, in order to remain in orbit around the moon, the minimum speed above the surface, a little bit above the surface, you have to be traveling at about 6,000 kilometers per hour, which is 3 times the speed of a rifle bullet. So if you are going around the moon at that speed in a vacuum, and you want to slow down, you need a great deal of fuel. And you also need a great deal of direction of the fuel so that you can vector a landing, so that when you do come to a stop, you land gently. Now, various attempts have been made in the last few years, even by the Israelis, to land a satellite on the moon, and you can't do it. They crashed, and they have debris fields that are a kilometer long because to come to a stop, remember, in order to be in orbit a few feet above the surface of the moon, you must travel at 3 times the speed of a rifle bullet.
Yep.
So in order to stop, you need a lot of fuel. But you also, once you start to stop, you go down. And so you need something to keep you off the surface and at the same time slow you down to a speed 0. So that when you touch down, you are 0. You can't touch down at 1 or 2 or 3 miles per hour because you're going to break something. You can only touch down when you're going 0. And people have found that almost impossibly difficult to do. And so there are a lot of questions about the moon landing, to be honest. There are a lot of questions. How did the Eagle do it? It would need so much fuel that it would have to take with it to be able to slow down around the moon. And there's a lot of questions about that, how it possibly could have done it, if you understand. There's no atmosphere. It's like some of our restaurants. They've got no atmosphere.
That nigga laugh is weird.
Well, at this point, Elon has 14 children.
Yes,
You have 7 biological children.
yes,
So he's doubled you.
yes, thank heavens. Of course.
Right. And he has years to go also. He could possibly triple you or quadruple you at one point.
No, much more. No. But remember, you can only eat so many fillet steaks. You can't eat that much. You can only eat as much as what your body can take. So, as I said earlier, Elon is a wonderful person to have in a business because he puts everything back into the business. Doesn't take anything. Not even a salary.
Well, do you have a relationship with any of Elon's kids, your grandkids?
Yes, I do. I've met the small ones. Siobhan's too. I've met them, and they've sat with me for a few hours at a time. I've met X, or X. I call him X, and I've met all the older boys, years ago, of course, and I don't hear much from them, and for that matter, I don't hear much from the children of my daughters either, except I wish them on their birthdays, and I'm just one of the old guys in the family. I'm not part of their particular field of interest, if you know what I mean. But we have a great family, so we don't have any problems in that regard.
Sure.
Well, this article in the New York Times was pretty catastrophic. It made headlines all over the world. And to your defense, you agreed to do this interview. You did not ask me to take out any questions.
No.
I was able to ask everything I wanted, every single detail you addressed.
Sure.
So regardless if people believe you or not believe you, you have been forthcoming in this entire interview.
Thanks.
But how damaging was this article when it came out?
Well, my biggest fear is, I see Yana every day, and I bought her a house close to the schools. We got the 2 children in a school, 2 schools, and so she's able to more or less walk them to school now. So that's a very big help because I'm about 30 miles from where they are, and getting the kids to school every day, several times a day, is a big job. So anyway, no. My biggest concern was that for Yana, that she mustn't, become upset. And so she's been quite marvelous about this stuff. She just, in order to keep her sanity, she just doesn't want to have it talk to anybody. I don't believe she said she's not talking to anybody. And the only thing she did do was write a letter to the New York Times saying that what they are saying is false and inaccurate, wrong, or whatever she said. I can't remember. Let me see what she said. She said, what Errol says is accurate. In other words, my replies to them is what she said is accurate,
She probably
So that's my main concern. For myself,
This nigga probably already killed them already, bro. News just ain't come out yet.
I went through high school with girls and boys. I mean, once you've done that, you learn about everything. Nobody's popular forever. So, you learn that today's hero is tomorrow's zero. So you just understand that, and that's life. And if it's going to get you down, then, well, I'm sorry for you.
Well, the final question is this. A lot of times when you have these big articles like this or these documentaries and so forth, it usually triggers a police investigation, criminal charges, and so forth. So with how explicit this whole New York Times article has been, Has there been any police investigations, any arrests, anything else of that sort?
No. There's no reason for something like that. Absolutely, it's all fake. Everything is fake. Fake. And if you understand that it's people's efforts to get money from people they consider have an abundance of money, that's really, the short and tall of it, that's it.
So you feel that this whole thing is a ploy by various family members to try to get as much money out of Elon Musk, aka the world's richest man, into their own pockets,
well, I would say
by using
that's one
these
of the
types of
things,
situations as a backdrop?
I would call that a very prime mover. I would also say that they have a certain animus, or whatever the right word is, towards me. And so they also try to break me as a person, I've had that with lots of people from high school onwards. So it's not as though it's new to me, I just tell people to get in the queue. Get in the queue.
Well, Errol Musk, you've answered every single question. You haven't ducked a single question. You didn't tell me ahead of time, please don't ask me X, Y, and Z. Every single thing in this article has been addressed.
Yes.
You've addressed it in detail and so forth. Now
Yes.
it's ultimately up to the people who watch this to decide who is telling the truth. But I think that this is actually going to bring a lot of context and a second side to this article, which was very big. And I'm sure it affects a lot of different people in your family, including
Yeah.
yourself, Elon, all your kids, all the kids' mothers and grandkids and so forth. So I appreciate you coming in. And thank you again for this opportunity. And we'll speak again soon.
Thank you so much, Vlad.
Absolutely. Until next time. Peace.
Okay, bye.
I believe. Sorry for chewing so loud. I believe that nigga was definitely lying. He's an abuser. All that. He started scratching and shit when he started, answering other questions. And then you see how comfortable he got. Wasn't doing no scratching when he was talking about Elon Musk and, the rest of the family. All that. Let's get into this 100K track. 4-minute video.
Build a website you love with...
No, thank you.
So, from what I understand, King Von was in his car outside the club, and someone approached him. One of his guys approached him and said, "Hey, we see Quando Rondo, I guess, asleep in the car, or somewhere around in the area."
They seen so and so.
Yeah, and Von jumps out of the car and literally bumps into him.
Yeah, facts.
Where are you during this time?
Right there.
You're
in the
actually
front.
right with him.
I'm in the front seat because at that time,
He's the nigga that told King Von, go slide.
I drove we drove in a Hellcat to the club, and when we left, I jumped in the same car, but he jumped with the security in a bulletproof truck. So when I came to the car, we've been waiting outside for like almost 40 minutes. It was freezing, like, bro, ridiculously cold. So everybody was kind of just like, hey, bro, when we going inside, they're coming to me, like, everybody, like, yo, when we gonna go inside, because we usually in and out, go, do what we gotta do. So I went to the car, and I'm like, hey, bro, it's time to go. Like, where we on? Like, we've been out here for 40 minutes. You're like, I'm coming, we're about to go. So, like I said, security, everybody do their rounds, go put everything in. So we're actually waiting for security to go put all their weapons in, because the club wouldn't let you go in with no weapons and nothing like that. So we're waiting for everybody to situate themselves and smoking weed and just really chilling, like getting ready to go. And right when that situation happened, we was already in the process of going. So when you see everybody kind of like ready to move, we're moving thinking that we're about to go. Now, when that situation happened, I was in the car, but it happened so fast that by the time you jumped out, bumped into him, and went left, it was no time to even hey, security, like put everybody on beat because it just unraveled so quick.
Well, Vaughn ends up bumping into him and then instantly starts punching him in the face from what I've seen in the video.
Mm-hmm.
And then all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
You see a little Tim, he approaches the situation and he just starts to open fire.
Mm-hmm.
You get hit yourself.
Yeah.
In the leg.
In the leg, yep.
Did you realize you were hit?
That was my first time ever getting shot. I never got shot before in my life.
Yeah.
So, and adrenaline was running. So when I got hit, it sent a straight sharp pain through my body. And I looked, but I didn't know where I was bleeding at. I just know I got hit. I don't know where, but I felt it like, oh shit. So I went and took cover. It's when I went to go take cover, I'm looking, I realized, oh shit, my leg bleeding. Really, and then it just started kind of.
Military niggas go take cover. Street niggas, y'all niggas go hide. Two different things. You was hiding. You didn't take cover.
Or numb. And from there, I'm like, oh shit, this shit is serious. Like, I'm really hit. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on because I found cover and really came back and I think got transferred to the hospital right in the midst of everything happened. So I'm watching everything happen on the camera after the incident. I'm watching Vaughn got shot. I'm watching everybody moving around. But there, all we heard was hella gunfire. Because like I said, you had officials there, you had undercovers, so it was just more like Armageddon at that point. So I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. I don't know anything that's going on. It's, when I look at the footage, I'm seeing like, oh shit, all this shit went down.
Okay, so did you actually see Vaughn get shot?
No.
Okay, at all. But you heard the gunshots go off.
I heard the gunshots went off and I got hit and I'm like, oh shit.
Okay.
Fuck.
You turned one idea into a brand that means...
This was getting good, I ain't gonna cap. Shout out to Kai Trump. OG Percy.
Yeah, you were swollen as shit. How many push-ups were you doing a day?
Oh, man, I run through a sheet of paper. That's 50 a line. You know, a sheet of paper you got, every line I got 50 on each line. I call it I get my paper. I lose count. I'm at like 1,000 something, I lose count. But that sheet of paper, I got 50 on each line. The first, every line gonna have a 50 on it. And I don't know how many lines. I hope I ain't got a 50 line sheet of paper today. I gotta get the little thick blue lines. But I run through.
Let's say it was 15 lines times 50. 750, let's say it was 20 times 50. 1,000 push-ups, let's say it was 25 times 50. 1,250. Say it was 30 times 50. 1,500 push-ups, okay.
Sheet of paper, and I said, I'm getting my paper. That was my motivation. I had to stay in the position I was, 'cause I like to fight. In prison, I was an enforcer. In prison, I enforced it. I did my time off of fighting, looking for the action. Not trying to be the man. I didn't know how to pass my time. That's one thing about prison. Whatever you come in here being, you better be there. Don't come in here looking like you tough and you ain't. Down there tough. You just looking tough. I found out one thing about Ferguson. I went to the bottom of the borough penitentiaries. It was the most, because you know when you know how they say something, Sean, they say, man, they let that go. They say, man, let something go. I mean, you let something go, that means it's out of control. You ain't got no control, man. Shit, I don't work there. Hell no, I don't work over there. I ain't let that motherfucker go. That went down. That means the inmates run this, the officers don't. That's the most scariest place to go, where the inmates run something and officers don't. I went there. They'll tell you over the system of TDC, oh, you want to be bad? Oh, you think you tough? Send them to Ferguson. That's what they'll tell them. Send them to Ferguson. They got all these other Green, Estelle, Huntsville, Pac 1, Pac 2, Clemens, Cleveland, all these other prisons around here. But if you end up on Ferguson, you only here for one reason, because it's called an STG unit, Security Threat Group. That's what it's called. It's called an STG unit, Security Threat Group unit. This is where the security's in trouble. These niggas are threatening. It's a group of them. And they leave you out to dry as an employee over there. It's a sign over the door. It says no employees beyond this point. I said, why would they put that there? They said, just in case somebody y'all kidnap and try to take them out that door, they're not gonna open the door for them. You mean, that don't mean nobody beyond this point. This is far we can let y'all go. If something ever happened to you in here. I should tell you, I had got to the point, I told my partner when I first got to Ferguson, they spooked me. They scared me soon as I got 2 guys ran right up on me like I was food. Now, I'm gonna tell you something about that portion.
Prisoners or security?
No. With security run up on you, you can smoke them, but you better have it on your mind. When I first got off the bus, I heard about Ferguson for years. It was like one of the most dangerous places you ever want to go, but the toughest you can get. It's the biggest college in prison that you go. No, I went to college, right? No.
You went to college?
Yes, sir.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to Penn State.
You went to Penn State?
Yes, sir.
You didn't go to Penn State.
Yes, I did. Just turn the words around. Appreciate you, son. Let you suck in there one. Yeah. I'm gonna let him soak in that one for a minute. Yeah, I went to college. I had to go learn something. Yeah, 4 years
That's
exactly. I got my.
That's a bar.
Yeah, I know it. I got my whole degree down there.
So wait, so you go to Ferguson and 2 men run up on you?
Watch this, straight off the bus. One thing they know is a red bag. Everybody know what the red bag means.
What that mean?
You just got here. You green. They might well put a goddamn line across your back and take some white tape or paint and paint you, because everybody know you knew. The red bag gonna tell you knew. Yeah. And when that red bag, you gotta carry that red bag around till they finish your inventory. You ain't got nowhere to put your shit anyway. You gotta go to chow with your red bag, sit in the house, a new nigga. Well, one thing about the chain line, everybody coming to be like 25 of us standing there with a little chain bag getting off the bus, we knew.
Oh man, I'm thinking of a song idea, bro. Nobody fucking with Trey That lead is too loud, man.
Well, you had Neon on your show.
Neon, yeah.
And at one point, you guys just cut the interview short and said that he was wasting your time. Now, I've interviewed Neon before. I thought he was a cool kid. Like, what was the problem that you guys had with Neon?
There was no problem with Neon. I think Neon's main problem was he started listening to his chat, his streaming chat. Right?
What do you mean?
So he started reading the comments on his chat. And I think that gave him a false hope of courage. Meaning, when he came on the show, Jess Hilarious asked him questions about things he said about black people. Right? And he said, if you go through it, he said a lot of foul shit. I mean, there was clips that went viral about the things that he said. Like any other show, if you say something or if I say something about something that you don't like or that's near and dear to your heart, you're going to ask me about it, right? That's what a journalist does.
Yeah.
And that's what Jess Hilarious did. And at first, he was very apologetic and very sorry. And then I think he started reading his chat. And then it just kind of got like, nah, I think y'all doing this. I think y'all doing that. And it just kind of got, I want to say got crazy. You know, we asked him about it. Interview was over, and that was pretty much it. It was nothing. We didn't kick him out. Interview was over. He was streaming for a minute. I think the interview was, what, 36 minutes, 40 minutes?
Pretty short.
You've been on the Breakfast Club before. They vary from 30 to 40 minutes. Now, if you're very, very intrigued, they can go to an hour. But I think the average interview on the Breakfast Club is anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes.
But I feel like in his case, you guys just cut it short.
Nah,
I remember there was like a weird thing. I think Aiden Ross was all mad, saying, "Oh, he's bigger than all y'all." And blah, blah, blah.
We interviewed him. They were mad that we were asking about all the things that he was saying, and they felt like we were badgering him. But you know, if you say some foul shit, especially about black people, and the hosts are black, they're gonna ask you about it, and that's what we did. Now, people had a problem with it, fuck them. But we're gonna ask anybody that comes up with any question we want to ask them. Now, it's how they answer it is everything else.
You know, I asked Charlamagne when he was on here last time. I said, "Do you feel that you guys ruined Tyler's career with that interview?"
Ruined whose career?
Tyler's.
Tyler.
Yeah. Remember she came on and the whole like colored question came on, and then she kind of like turned around and it got all awkward and so forth. And recently she dropped an album that sold like nothing, well, like triple cardboard, which is weird for an artist of her stature. So do you feel like you guys contributed to that?
No.
How's that?
When you say something outside in this outside world and you come to do an interview, people are going to ask you about it, right? Now, it's all in how you answer the question. And this is what I tell every label and I tell every artist. We have to ask you the question because there's some shit that you said. We didn't make it up. We didn't bring it up out the air. It wasn't a guess. This is something that you said. So we're asking for clarity or for something you said. If you don't feel comfortable answering, so you have to say, you know what? It was something that I was talking about people in Africa. I'm gonna have that conversation when I go back home, or I'm having that conversation when I go to Africa so I can have a conversation and talk to the people that I offended, or talk to the people. Then we would be like, okay, I get it. But when you start ducking and dodging, it's like, what do you want to do? You make it awkward. It's like you ask me a question. I don't have to answer that question, right? I can say, look, it's an open case. I can't discuss it right now. What do you say after that, Vlad? You can't say, well, I just tell you. And we've seen that happen a lot of times. It's how you answer it. And the main problem is I think a lot of these labels don't have A&R development and don't have development anymore where they teach people how to do interviews. Because a lot of these people, they're artists thrown into the belly of the beast where they don't know. They don't have anybody saying, well, this is how you answer the question. I remember, this might have been 10 years ago. We had Megan Thee Stallion, one of her first interviews, and she was nervous to do the interview, the first Breakfast Club interview. And I don't remember what the situation, there was some type of drama going around. I can't remember what it was. Might have been right when her mom passed. And she was very nervous. And I pulled her to the side and I said, look, if you have a problem ever answering a question, just say, I don't feel like talking about it right now. That's it. That kills the question. You ain't got to say nothing more. You don't got to have diarrhea mouth where you try to explain yourself because you know what? People are not going to believe you anyway. If you can't answer the question, just say, I can't answer it right now, or I don't want to talk about it right now, or next question.
Okay. You're talking to a media person right now.
Correct.
So we got to be fair here.
That's right.
She had picked me up. Oh, you hung me up.
When I've done Breakfast Club, every Breakfast Club, I've talked to you guys, we've huddled up, I say, hey, listen, we're all friends here, we all fuck with each other, we do each other's shows. There are certain things I don't want to talk about. So can you please not bring those up? You guys have always respected it. I've had interviews with Charlamagne where afterwards he said, hey, listen, can you take this This past interview, there was a whole topic we talked about, and he called me right after and said, hey, listen, can you take that part out? I just don't think that came off very well. What did I say? No problem. From what I understand, and he actually told me this, that her label came in with a list of things not to ask.
Every artist does that.
And you guys asked them anyways.
Every art, well, that's
so
not,
explain to me what the difference is between me asking
that's not necessarily
and a
true.
label asking.
That's not necessarily true. Every label well, I'm not gonna say every label. A lot of labels come in with questions where they don't want us to ask, right?
Right.
And we always say the same thing. If that is the answer, if that's the way you want to go, don't do this interview. Right? So we give you an option. It's not a sneak attack.
You never told me that.
It's not a surprise, right?
Have you guys ever told me that? Have you guys said, well, Vlad, if we can't answer that, then you don't have to come?
Depends.
No. You guys have said no problem.
Depends.
And I would do the same thing for y'all.
Depends, and I'm gonna tell you why.
And a lot of other people.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
We have a relationship that's built on trust, and I've known you since I was probably 21 years old. Right?
There was, and I'm not going to say what it is, but there was an interview I did, I called you about, and you were upset about, and you said, please don't put that out, and I never put it out. Right? We're not even going to say what it's about, because it doesn't matter at this point. But we've all given each other passes over the years.
We established that relationship.
Yes.
Right? There's some artists that'll call me and say, yo, Envy, I did this, that, and the other. We established a relationship, right? And most of the stuff is not necessarily factual or things that can hurt somebody. But the Tyler incident, she just did an incident when she discussed it. So now you come on the Breakfast Club 2 weeks later, and it's a hot topic. So now when you do an interview, what's the push button that you have to ask? That question, right? Now, if it's something that's legal, or something that I can't talk about, or something that's going through a case or something like that, then yeah. If there's something legal that happened with you and you say, look, I can't talk about it, I don't want to discuss it, okay, fine.
What I've asked you not to discuss has never been legal.
Huh?
Has never been legal.
No, I'm just saying, if somebody comes and says it's a legal situation,
I get it.
it's cool. But now if it's something where you made a statement about a hot
That
topic.
nigga pressing envy ass, boy.
Say you just said, for instance, you talked about a tweet that you put out about the Super Bowl, right? And let's say you got a lot of bad feedback on it, right? I can't see you next week and be like, don't talk about it. We're going to say, Vlad, we have to ask you that question, but you can say, hey, I can't talk about it right now. We give you that option to say that. But there's certain things we cannot go around.
I feel, let's just say that this became the worst tweet I ever did in my life.
Correct.
And I'm still doing some promo runs. I think I could ask y'all just not to cover this topic, and I think you guys would do that for me. I think you guys would.
It depends.
I think you would.
If you did it a week ago and it was viral and you just came on the show, I think you wouldn't ask us to do that.
I think
I
I
don't
would.
think you would ask us to do it.
I
You'd be
think
like-
I
you'd be
would,
like,
and I think
guys-
you guys would respect that. That's what I think, and I would do the same for y'all.
I don't think you would, but I think we also have a different relationship than a lot of different artists that come on the shows as well.
Yeah, I mean, we go back. I mean, Charlemagne was doing Vlad TV before he joined the Breakfast Club. I was putting Charlemagne on mixtapes when he was in South Carolina. So we really all go back. I just
But we
feel
also
like
give them an option to say, look, we're going to ask an artist, especially an artist that's there for the first time, we're going to ask them everything that people want to discuss. And if you feel uncomfortable with any of these questions, then don't bring them up here. We give people that option. So you can't have your cake and eat it too.
it's a balancing act. You know, because yes, you could do that, but chances are Tyler will probably never come back on the Breakfast Club, right?
Maybe.
I mean, maybe, maybe not. There's definitely less chance of her coming back after that.
Maybe, yeah.
Right?
Of course.
Because not all artists are like, no, I want to confront that. Like, I want to come back and whatever else, and I'm going to put them in their place. Some people are like, you know something? This is proven to be not a very friendly environment. Listen, I deal with this myself. Like, no record label really works with me because they're all scared over the questions I'm going to ask.
Correct.
And that's okay because I'm not going to change my format to make some record labels happy when they really don't care about me anyways.
But see, but it's also the views, right? The reason you get the views and the reason you get the traction is because of the questions that you ask.
Right.
The reason we get the views and traction is because of the questions that we ask. Now, if you don't want that type of interview and don't want that traction, there's a million and one other places that you can go to get a happy-go-lucky interview, right? People do it all the time. And then what usually happens? They circle back to Vlad because they be like, we didn't get the traction we needed. They circle back to the Breakfast Club because they're like, we didn't get the traction we needed. So it's like, okay, you can, like, you don't have to come here. You don't have to come to the Breakfast Club. There's so many different podcasts, so many different radio shows that will be happy to do the interview. But you just won't get the traction because they're not asking the questions that people want to hear.
Sure.
This isn't the
All right, bro. I'm not finding the beat that speaks to me. I got like less than an hour to make this song.
Jones.
What's up with these weird ass beats, bro? This shit, like, what the fuck? Nobody in 2025 want to listen to shit like that. Maybe 1994. Ah, fuck. Alright, let's see. Please be it. Yeah, it's gotta be it.
Scandy.
I quit my job at LegalZoom to start my business with LegalZoom. So when my husband and I came up with the idea to open the non-alcoholic bottle shop of our dream.
I'm recording this song right now. Before I go to work. This fucking hoe ass nigga ain't fucking set my shit back up, bro. Let's keep practicing.
Scandy.
That shit again, man. What the fuck? Yeah.
Scandy.
It's so true.
Scandy.
True, baby. It's true, babe. I'm true, babe. Yeah, yeah. It's true, babe. That I'm true, babe. I really like this part. Oh, it's true, babe. That I'm true, babe. I really like this part. It's true, babe. I'm true, babe. I really like this part. And it's true, babe. I'm true, babe. Think I really like you. And it's so true, babe. True, babe. True, babe. Z. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh, baby. Ooh, lady. There's something about you. It's true, baby. Ooh, babe. I think I just might like you. I've built people up. I've turned people down. I hope I don't do that to you. But, ooh, babe. Ooh, lady. I've never stayed too long. It's true, baby, that I'm cruel, baby. It's true, baby. I'm so cruel, baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh, lady. You caught me off guard. It's true, baby. Ooh, baby. I didn't plan this part. I've walked away while they still cried and told myself I tried. Like, ooh, baby. Ooh, lady, you make it hard to lie. It's true, baby. Ooh, lady, I feel when you walk by. I've made hearts race, then broke the pace and vanished without a trace. It's true, baby, that I'm cruel, baby. It's so true, baby, that I'm cruel, baby. Ooh, baby, ooh, lady, you see too much too fast. It's true, baby, ooh, lady, I didn't know how to last. I've burned bright, then dimmed the flame. Never stayed long enough for blame. Like, ooh, baby, ooh, lady. Ooh, baby, ooh, lady, your eyes feel like home. It's true, baby, ooh, lady, but I'm wired to roam. I've kissed goodnight with goodbye in mind. Left the mess, I never rewind. Ooh, baby, oh, I'm cruel, baby. What's up?
I just left my friend's house, babe.
Okay, babe.
You'll never believe what just happened to me.
What just happened, babe?
I mean, wait, did you work out today? That's what I called you for.
Yeah.
Alright, what'd you do?
I went to the outside gym over there that I showed you.
Outside gym?
Yeah, I did a couple sprints, 5 sets of pull-ups, push-ups, sit-ups. Yeah, what's up?
I just called to, I really called to ask if you worked out today. Cause boy, if I don't check up on you, you'll get fat.
You think so?
What? You don't think so, nigga?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm. Yo, but I'm wrapping up this song real quick so I can quickly shower and go to work.
Oh, you work today?
Yeah.
Alright, then, peace out.
Peace out. Stay safe. True, babe. Z.
Candy.
Yeah. Ooh, babe. There's something about you. It's true, babe. Ooh, babe. I think I just might like you. I've turned people up. I've turned people down. I hope I don't do that to you. Ooh, babe. Ooh, babe. I've never stayed too long. It's true, babe. That I'm cruel, babe. It's true, babe. I'm so cruel, babe. Ooh, babe. Ooh, babe. You caught me off guard. It's true, babe. Ooh, babe. I didn't plan this part. I walked away while they still cried and told myself I tried. Like, ooh, lady, you make it hard to lie. It's true, babe. Ooh, lady, I feel it when you walk by. I make hearts race, then erased and vanished without a trace. It's a true way that I've become, baby. It's so true, baby. That I've become, baby. You said too much too fast. It's true, baby. Ooh, baby. I didn't know how to last. I've been around, then the fate. Never stayed long enough for a break. Like, ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Your eyes feel like home. It's true, baby. Ooh, late, but I'm wired to roam. I've kissed goodnight with goodbye in mind. Left the mess, I never rewind. Ooh, baby. Oh, I'm cruel, baby. There's something about you. It's so true, baby. Ooh, baby. I think I just might like you. I've people down. I've turned people down. I hope I don't do that to you. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. I've never stayed too long. It's true, baby. I'm cruel, baby. It's true, baby. I'm so cruel, baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh, lady. You caught me off guard. It's true, baby. Ooh, baby. I didn't plan this part. I walked away with you. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. You caught me off guard. It's true, baby. You caught me off guard. It's true, baby. Ooh, baby. I didn't plan this part. I walked away while they still hurt and told myself I'd try. Ooh, baby, I didn't plan this part. I walked away while they still hurt and told myself while they still hurt and told myself. Off guard. It's true, baby. Ooh, baby. I didn't plan this, but you caught me off guard. It's true, baby. Ooh, It's true, baby. Ooh, baby. I didn't end this part. I walked away while they still cried and told myself I'd try. Like, ooh, lady, you make it hard to lie. It's true, baby. Ooh, lady, I felt when you walk by. I made hearts race, then broke the peace and vanished without a trace. It's true, baby, that I'm cruel, baby. It's so true, baby, that I'm cruel, baby. Ooh, lady, you see too much too fast. It's true, baby. Ooh, lady, I didn't know how to last. I've learned right, then tend to fight. Never stay long enough for a break. Like, ooh, lady, ooh, lady. Ooh, lady, your eyes feel like home. It's true, baby. Ooh, lady, but I'm wired to roam. I've kissed goodnight with goodbye in mind. Left the mess, I never rewind. Ooh, lady, oh, I'm cruel, baby. Never rewind. Ooh, baby. Oh, I'm cruel, baby. Ooh, baby. Oh, I'm cruel, baby. Ooh, baby. Oh, I'm cruel, baby. True, baby. True, baby. Z. Yeah, yeah. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. There's something about you. It's true, baby. Ooh, baby. I think I just might like you. I've turned people down. I hope I don't do that to you. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. I've never stayed too long. It's true, baby, that I'm cruel, baby. It's true, baby, I'm so cruel, baby. This song is hard as hell. And it happened way too fast. She take me up, oh, where you left me at, hard to leave you alone. Oh, now I can stand your ass, oh, I can get home, make my pockets fat. Yeah, other tax. She take me up, you left me at, oh, I didn't leave. And I can stand your ass, oh, I can get home, oh, no. It's